Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 5, and today we're taking a look at the 2020 Lamborghini Essenza SCV12. So this is a car that's produced in 2020 alone, with only 40 units being produced, and that is because it's a track-only car. It uses the same engine from the Aventador SVJ, but is rotated 120 degrees so the gearbox can be mounted at the rear for better weight distribution. It also generates 2,600 pounds of downforce at 155 miles an hour. Has Brembo disc brakes, Pirelli racing slicks, and magnesium wheels, 19 inches at the front, 20 inches at the rear. So yeah, a very focused vehicle, no compromises whatsoever with this car, especially when it comes to the looks, which have been focused on the aerodynamics alone and not to be really all that stylish. Although on the whole I do like the look of it, but you can see from the side profile that it's basically a somewhat slightly slipperier version of a Aventador, because only the rear sloping part is any real difference to the Aventador's overall side profile. But as you can see, it's got a massive rear spoiler working with a rear diffuser, and it's been completely pretty much stripped out. Can't really take the car apart because it is a racing car, so you'd have to have a team of people to pull it apart. So yeah, we can't look at the engine or anything like that, but it is a 6.5 litre naturally aspirated V12 engine, producing 818 horsepower and 590 pounds-feet of torque. So that's 59 horsepower and 59 pounds-feet of torque more than the Aventador SVJ, which it shares the engine with. And it has that increase in power due to ram air induction, so the air basically is forced through into the car's engine a lot more forcefully, so it produces more power. And it also weighs 417 pounds less than the SVJ at 3,190 pounds. So all of that extra power and torque while also weighing a hell of a lot less. Although to be honest, it needs that extra power and torque to help with the incredible amount of downforce that this car generates. Interior wise, as you'd expect, it's stripped out and really rather quite focused, but yeah, you've also got a screen up the top right there to provide extra information about what the car is doing and the like. But you can also have that on the little screen on the steering wheel there, which as you can see is not a proper steering wheel, it's a racing steering wheel. So yeah, no 3-point turns or anything like that in this car, so no need to have it as a full round one. But yeah, they've still got the mad doors for some reason, which I'm surprised about. If being a track car, would have expected them to have been normal to keep the weight down, but still, fantastic looking vehicle, plenty of power and torque, and a hell of a lot of downforce. And surprisingly, this has even more power and torque than the Cyan, which we've already had on this game, which is despite that having the same sized engine, but also having an electric motor. So yeah, it just shows how highly strung this engine is in terms of power, that they've got even more power out of it despite having no electric assistance alongside it. So but nonetheless, let's get out onto the open road and see what this car can do. Right, so let's see what this car can do on the drag strip before we hit the speed camera, and then we'll get it around its natural habitat, which is the track. So this is only rear wheel drive, so it's not got the best of launches in comparison to its all wheel drive brethren, but still it gets off the line nicely. And if you can't already hear this car, then you need to turn your ears up a bit, because it's 164 mile an hour across the speed camera, which is relentlessly quick. And despite not being the highest revving engines ever, it's sounds absolutely glorious. Really does sound like a racing car. It sounds like it should be a kind of car that has open wheels and only a single seat in the middle, quite frankly, considering how it sounds. But yeah, let's get to the racetrack, take a look at the stats, and then we'll get it around the track. So so we're in Rivals, so we're in S2 class, near the top. And they're the stats, which as you can see are pretty damn great. Braking and the handling and the speed are all rather solid. Acceleration is decent, and so is the launch, but it's more about the mid-range clout with this car, going around the corners and being able to make the most of the power around the corners because its handles so great. So acceleration and launch isn't really the priority because of the high focus on the handling. So here's hoping that this car's going to be featured in the new Forza Motorsport game, because this will be even better to drive on that game with it being a track focused game. But nonetheless, let's take a look at how this car properly sounds without me waffling on over it, and then we'll talk about it some more. So I'm not the biggest of fans when it comes to track-only cars, but when they look and sound as good as this, then yeah, I am all for it. And yeah, it's also ballistic in terms of acceleration. 0 to 60 in 2.516 seconds, 0 to 100 in 4.816 seconds, and despite all of that downforce that it's generating, it can still do 208 miles an hour. Now, granted, that's about 15 mile an hour slower than the SVJ, which it shares its engine with, but that is still an incredible top speed given all of that downforce. And yeah, the handling is absolutely superb. It just provides all of the confidence in the world for you to stick it in as fast as possible. And obviously, the quicker you're going, the more handling you have. And yeah, then you've got those Brembo brakes, which just yeah stop you on a dime pretty much, which is obviously helped by the fact it doesn't weigh all that much. So yeah, glorious car. In terms of acceleration in comparison to the SVJ, well, yeah, it's quicker. It's about nearly 0.3 of a second quicker to 60, and it's nearly a second quicker. Oh, looking at my notes there, it was nearly a second quicker to 100. So yeah, that is pretty damn sharpish considering. You know, like I said, all the downforce that is acting on this car, even at slower speeds, it does feel like it's got plenty of it. So yeah, this is part of the Italian Exotics car pack, which is something you have to buy separate to the game, but it's well worth it because you've got this glorious racing car, well, track-only car, although it's supposed to be made for a single-make race series that Lamborghini are featuring. But yeah, regardless, it features this amazing track car. And then you've got the few free vehicles that we've already looked at as well. Another from Lamborghini, the Ferrari Roma, and the Ital Design Da Vinci concept car. So yeah, 4 out of 4, quite frankly, so far with this car pack. So yeah, looking forward to reviewing the next couple of cars. I'm not going to review the track-only Huracan, just because I don't have anything really much to say about it other than that it is a track-only car. So yeah, whereas this I have plenty to talk about, as yeah, it sounds great, looks great, and yeah, it's just a really rather fun car to drive, on track or otherwise. So yeah, get out there and get that car pack if you haven't already. I highly recommend it. But nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.